Hello everyone, this is Shreya for the session of customer journey with a little bit of digital cue and presenting an interesting case study regarding that. So, my first slide comprises of what is actually customer journey. So, customer journey is basically we see is a set of interaction. If I go with a book definition, customer journey is a set of interaction that customer has with the brand as well as with the process of buying that particular product or the service. But if we go in a plain and simple word, that means the customer journey is a traveling process from one product in a buying to feedback from review. Everything is counted in that particular journey. So it's a basically, if we want to talk about, it's a roadmap which we call about the customer journey. It is simple discovery about the brand where the customer is going to purchase a product or a service from that particular company. So that is actually by book definition, it is a set of interactions of the customer through the brand, through the discovery, and what all he required to buy or purchase that particular service. But in a plain words, it is only an interaction of a roadmap where it is go from a brand discovery to purchase, and it goes beyond that. So that's why the customer journey is a really interactive thing which when we are talking about customers. Second point, why do we need a perfect customer journey? So when we are talking about the customer journey, when we define that customer journey, that it is a set of interaction with everything, but why do we need it should be perfect? So the customer journey maps the roadmap, if you want to talk about it is a it is always allowed to view the full experience what the customer is having when he or she is buying or purchasing the service through the website. So this is the most important thing to make it a perfect. So how would you make it perfect? That is the main question. So in this slide, we can comprise of the definition with it, that what is actual customer journey and what are the phases which it goes through. That is the feedback, the rating, the customer experience, and as well as examining the product for or the service which the customer wants from the particular service or the brand. So this is what a customer journey is. Second comes around when we were talking about how do we get a perfect customer journey. I'm starting the second slide with a simple example. How do we get a successful customer? So there's like five stages are there when we are talking about a simple example of a successful customership. So first is a physical evidence that comprises of the website. So why we call is a website as a physical evidence? Because when a customer is making a purchase or try to think about a product to buy it, either it is a product or a service, if the website is available to it, so the physical evidence means the website, if it is good, the customer, and if it is a user friendly, the customer is really happy and to explore more and more things into that particular website. Second things, the customer actions. When the entire thing, when the customer goes through the website, whether it is a uh, whether it is a checking, whether it is a decor, whether it is anything, if he or she is buying any of furnitures, or he or she is looking for some other product. So when this physical evidence satisfies the customer, then the customer take the second step. And what is the second step? That whatever, whether he is doing a reservations, whether he is doing buying a product, or whether he is appointing any service. So now the second step comes with the customer is the actions, how it stage that actions, that while he's satisfied with the website, with the service, so now he is very confident that he can make a reservation, or he can try to try to buy more and more service through that brand or through that product. So that is why the customer, as well as when he passes his physical evidence, means after visualizing, after viewing the entire website of that particular company, then the customer is satisfied to take the action whether he is going to buy it or not. On stage contact actions, that is simpler. If I'm taking an example of a hotel, so if that comprises of the entire circle into it, so how it is entitled, so when a person, even I, if I go to a some if I go for a vacation and I wanted a good hotel to live in, it can be any place. So what would be my first action? I would see the website whether that hotel is good for me, whether it is really comfortable, the convenience, staff, everything. Then the second would be, if when I'm satisfied with that website, with all the features which I wanted into that particular hotel, second action would be in my consideration that I would start doing a reservation. I'll arrive in the hotel, and what would be the other things, other activities I have to go through. While arriving at the hotel, we'll go to the reception, taking our check-in forms and getting key, going to the room. So these are the customer actions when we are arriving at the hotel. Third would be the on-stage contacts action. That would be that whenever I have gone to the hotel, or anybody else has arrived, because he is a registered guest into that particular hotel. So the people, when the guest arrives at the hotel, the other staff should be really friendly. They should greet them, take the bags, and deliver the bags to their rooms in which they are going to check in. So these are the three factors which comes hand in hand. Now, the backstage contact actions, what would be? So, backstage contact actions would be of a hotel to make a successful registration for the customer. Why? Because the thing is, the customer should not have any obstacles when he's entering into their hotel for the first time, or for any if he is going after a month or 2 months. The most thing the hotel want, that the customer should not face any problem while the guest is arriving at their venue. Then is the support process. So when these things come, like physical, customer action, on stage, backstage, so both the things, consumer as well as the hotel, both are involved in it. And the last part which comes, that is the support process. So how do we understand what is the support process? That when the guest is arrived, he's checked in, he's done each and every part of the hotel, the forms, formalities, everything. So the second, the last point which comes, when he's staying at that hotel, he should get a good support, whatever service he required while living into that particular hotel. Everybody wants, when even if you go, if I also go, I require certain, like sometimes it likes that we are coming like as a three people and we want an extra pet, and if we ask it, so somewhere in some sites it's written that it is included in that, but somewhere they charge the money of it. But the main thing, when you do all these things, and if the person in the hotel or the staff is very good to you, and he's trying to help you in each and every manner, that is what called a support process, and in which it shows that the hotel is very attentive to your problems, to your queries, to your complaints, everything. So the support process is always a better part when we are talking about a successful customer, to make it happen that the customer should come back and again to your hotel to live in. So that is why these four steps are really important. Like if you're talking about physical evidence, that means a website to look about the entire stuff. Second, the customer actions, when he or she is satisfied with the website, he can go through it, taking a decision whether to buy it or not. It is about the product or the service. On stage, which is the consumer is going and getting the feel of that particular hotel when he or she is going to live in. Backstage would be that the hotel should make it convenient for the consumer, that they should not face any obstacle while his stay in that particular hotel. And the last point would be the support process. When we are talking about a support process, it is about the representative who should see or should hear the entire query, complaint, request of the customer that makes a successful customer. So these points are always important when you are dealing with the customers. My third slide actually comprises of a scenario where the girl is Sarah. She's going out to watch movies with his friend, and she's very excited because this. But there is a one point of the excitement is that she's going to watch the movies at night. So, according to me, how the customer will decide what would be the expectations, or in other words, what are the pointers which should go in her head when she is booking a movie ticket with her friends at that particular theater and at the night. The first point which comes to decision part. So decision part is the most important, that she should look up his phone, because right now everything is on phone. Nobody has to go around physically and see about which movies are in which theater. So with the help of a digitalization tool, it makes it more convenient for the consumer to decide wherever which movie they want to go, and which theater is really near to their place. Why? Because if it is a person who's watching the movie, and he or she should always see that it should be near to their home, and it should be convenient to travel. Second thing, they can buy the ticket online. So, and even when we go for an app, so we always have that part in our mind that, okay, whether this movie, if anybody has suggested any movie to you, so that would be in your mind, that whether I can get this movie in that particular theater which is near my hotel, and whether I can get the tickets. So the decision part would come the first point when Sarah is going to watch a movie. Second point would be the travel. So, why would she think about this second point, travel? Why? Because the travel, she doesn't want to travel too much. She doesn't want to consume much time in traveling to that particular theater. Secondly, she wants to find a seat next to a friend. So that's the reason she doesn't want to consume that much time in the travel part. She wants it near, she can get it through, she can stand in a popcorn line to buy it, and then she can find the seat next to her friend. Third, when the decision travel is done, the third point which comes to her mind, the experience when she is sat down with her friends and watching the movie, the experience would be there. So the experience, how will she gather that point? The experience would be like the seat should be good, the ambience should be good, the people should be good. These are always a common points when we are going to watch a movie. Last point would be a return in her mind. So the return is the movie if it is starting from 9 to 12. So now the point that she should not have to go means a wider place that should be to the elevator, it should be near to it, and she can just drive home quickly. So these things should come in mind first, that she has to decide the movie should be into that particular theater which is near to her home. Second, she doesn't want to consume the time in traveling instead of having a good time with her friends. Third would be the experience. The movie should be good, the ambience should be good, the staff should be good, and it should be relaxing for her. And last would be the returning part. As soon as the movie is finished, so she can go back home safely. So these are the things, these are the pointers when she is trying to book a movie tickets for her friends. But what this is the expected in these 4 points, the expectations comes out that it should be a great movie, friendly staff, and good seat, which I was trying to explain in this segment of the experience. That is what all we require. The consumer's mind work in that way that their experience, whether it's a movie theater, whether it is anything, it should be good for them, and they should come back and again for that particular theater. You all know, whenever you like any product, I'm not talking about a movie, I'm talking about simple things. If you're buying particular furniture, or you can buying some clothes. So the experience for the consumer should be good when he or she is visiting to the website, or they are going into the physical way. So their experience should be much more good, so that they should come back and again. And the most importantly, whenever you went to a store or somewhere, the staff should be really good, that they could help you, they could support you to make the things happen, so that you can come to a decision to buy that particular product or not. So earlier in the first slide, when I was talking about the how do we make it the perfect customer journey. So there are some points which it comes to my mind, that for initial awareness, when we are talking about a customer journey road, so the initial awareness through this is the consideration, the purchase, the delivery. So you have to make that customer journey perfect by making the consideration, the purchase, the delivery, even the customer service, plus the sales after the service. Means when the customer has bought that the entire product or the service from you, so after when it is bought, that is the main point, that after the sale you should provide a good service to the customer, so that the person should come back again and again. And that is why you somewhere, it is an, I can say that it's an emotional stage where when you connect with the customer so much that we can able to analyze end to end that customer experience in that such a way, when you are trying to help the customer in every part of their purchase. So when we are talking about the customer journey analysis, so this is what are the main points, because customer journey mapping is a way to visualize the customer experience, so and how they interact with your business. That is the main point, because whatever the customer requires from your, we say he or she has bought a product from your brand or the service, anything. So you have you can take an example that it can be, okay, this service is, one service is not there, so you have to improvise it, right? So you can see with all the customer, when the customer is visiting your website or a store, you try to visualize it, you try to understand all the touch points, you try to give the multiple customer pathways and make it as so, in such a way, a good path that the customer would come in back and again, and you always be into a proactive manner to try to solve the problems of the customers. So that makes the entire customer journey analysis. Your the only goal into this particular customer analysis, when we are talking about, when you are visualizing, you are understanding each and every customer touch points, you are trying to give each and every help to the customer, even you are trying to solve the problems. Your main goal in that particular slide is only to remove all the obstacles which the customer is having, and try to give them more and more good experience to the customer. That is what is the whole about when we are talking about the customer journey analysis. And these points are really helpful, whether it is in your store and you are running a means apparel store, and when you see a customer enters and whatever he is looking, and you're trying to visualize it, you are trying to understand what the customer needs. And when the customer requires some multiple request or something, so you try to, in some or the other way, you always try to help the customer to get the best out of it, of that store. And you try to help in a multiple ways. That is why you're always, whenever it's an apparel growth, whether it is any store, independent store or a supermarket or anything, your main concern would be only to remove all the obstacles for the consumers, so that they should have a feel good experience in your store. That's the only major goal which you always think about, because the customers are really important for a business purpose. And the main thing, it should be a seamless journey. My second slide comprises of how do we get the customer feedback. So this is the first point when we are talking about customer feedback. So there are the four easy steps. So I should start with the first with the case study which I'm talking about, and then I'll come to this part, because the case study which I'm presenting right now is an electric toothbrush. I think you have already heard about the electric toothbrush, I suppose. Uh, so, what do you understand? What is a QR code? Now, here is the ingredient. I'm talking about a simple electric uh, toothbrush. So, if I talk about what is exactly the electric toothbrush, this is used by the young children, the older people, the people who are having some disease, even arthritis. So, this is a good way for to use it in a domestic way. So, it's a good part to do it. Every person is using electric toothbrush because it's more convenient, as we talk about, and it is done as globally. So electric toothbrush is in a market where it increases, if electric toothbrush is there, it increases the awareness about the oral hygiene among the customers. So everybody is looking about, nowadays everybody is looking for an oral hygiene. They are very considerate about which brush we should use, which toothbrush we should use that is good for our gums, which is good for our uh, teeth. It should be whitened. These all points come to the mind of the consumer when they are buying this brushes, whether it's a manual, whether it's an electric brush. But moreover, my question comes around. Okay, it's a globally understandable, that is, everybody wants that comfort. So I told you my topic is with the customer feedback, with the ingredient of digitalization. So what is the QR code is doing in electric toothbrush? So the QR code, when it is there in an electric toothbrush, it is more convenient to track all your real-time data, your uh, whether you are pressing it hard, whether you are making it really smooth, or whether it's hurting. Everything, it gives you the data, how many times you're brushing. So it downloads the entire thing. Secondly, the main important part, it can download the manual for using this electric toothbrush for yourself. So these two things are major when we are talking about the QR code in the electric toothbrush. First, whenever you use it, when you scan that, you download that manual, how to use it, how to make all the functions to be correct. Second, how it gives what all warranty, what all the services they are giving into it. It tries to activate each and every service when you start using this electric toothbrush. So, in my viewpoint, electric toothbrush is really good enough to do it, because it's really amazing part that nowadays many people use it because it's really convenient, really easy, and less hurting. So according to me, what are the benefits of using electric toothbrushes? So, which comes into my mind, that this electric toothbrush keeps your teeth, gums more cleaner, more healthier. Despite our best efforts, we are, if we see in despite in our efforts, we are not brushing thoroughly as we want, because we are always in a hurry. We are always getting somewhere or late or anything. And what happens when we do it a very hard brushing, or we are not doing so, our gums get infected, our teeth are not whitened, and the oral hygiene is not there. But with this, we can get the entire benefit, where the bristles can reach each and everywhere to take out that plaque from your teeth, try to improve your oral hygiene, which this manual toothbrush can't do. And that is the main thing about it, because everybody wants that the oral hygiene should be there whenever they are going for a meeting. It should be perfect. So that's why electric toothbrush is far more better than the manual, because manual doesn't get through that entire area where the plaque is there. He is not able to reach there. Second point which comes to my mind is an electric toothbrush makes for longer. It can be used for longer, equal time. So, in my opinion, like, you have always faced that situation where kids are really not easy to handle with when it comes for the brushing. Some kids doesn't want to do a brushing because it's a manual brush, they don't enjoy it. But when they go through this electric toothbrush, they have a certain things, they have a try to get through it, and they try to have a feel of electric brushes because they want something should be engaging with them. So that is the thing. When the kids used to have the food, they don't go and just you tell them and they go don't go for a brush up or anything. That's a manual thing. But when they're using this electric brush, they have that engagement. Okay, there are some sound coming, there is some engagement is there, and they're really happy of using them because they don't have to put much pressure on it, because everything that electric brush is doing it for themselves, and it's really convenient for them to do it. And that is why the electric toothbrush is really easy for the kids, because they always require that. Third point which I come to my mind, that is the electric toothbrush is a way to fight your gum diseases. It is an excellent tool. And why? Because this electric toothbrush bristles goes to the parts where you can just clean that plaque from your teeth, where the manual brush doesn't go around. And so that's the reason electric toothbrush is really more better for fighting with the gum disease. So, other point, what does the Bluetooth do? Why? It's a more convenient. If I say the Bluetooth is also one of the feature for the electric toothbrush. So what is the benefit of that when you're using that tooth electric toothbrush? So it gives a feedback for it. It give a real time feedback that either you are brushing it very hard, or you are doing it very smooth, or you are not brushing it correctly, or it is not at all correct in such a way that you are doing the brushing. So this is why Bluetooth is also come in that way, that makes it a feedback that comes around to the customer. So that is the reason when you are scanning it, you are getting the benefits for this electric toothbrush. And why the people will not take it? Because it is really usable. It is, you don't have to go here and there, because manual brushes are not giving you these type of reports to do it. It is always really easy. If you're getting it on time, you're getting the real time data from this Bluetooth or from a QR code, and these are really, really important. So the other point in my thing is, do we need a pressure sensor in electric toothbrushes? My answer would be yes, because when you are brushing, there are small components of a food which stuck in your teeth. And it's really difficult when you are using a manual toothbrush. But when you're using this electric toothbrush, it becomes easy to take out those components from your teeth. So that's why the electric toothbrush is far, far more better for the same thing, because it makes the it's make the entire thing very easily. It doesn't have to, manual doesn't makes it if you brush very hard. So what happens that sometimes you get a bleeding in your gums, and then you have to run to the doctor and everything. But pressure sensor makes it easy for you, that you should be not pressing so hard. It gives you the instruction, it tries to give you the effect of it. So that is why it engage you each and every time, whether the kid is using, whether the other person is using. So electric toothbrush is really important. So this is what is a technology which is rapidly increasing for QR code. When we are using this QR code, it's a technology, and it is really, really engaging. It's a really advanced, so that it is also integrate more and more features into your particular product. So what do we learn? That is, what are the points, key points of the electric toothbrush? Is that the QR code is really important for the electric toothbrush. Secondly, the benefits that's always first is, it's always try to keep your teeth quite clean and have a good oral hygiene. Second, it can be used for a longer time also. Third, it can be the way to fight your gum infection. Fourth is a way that you can use a Bluetooth to make the way out, the real time capture. And the last point which I'm talking about is the pressure sensor, which is really important in electric toothbrushes, which really engages the people when they are using it. And why? Because that helps to remove all your plaque from your teeth, which the manual toothbrushes can't do it itself. So this is what an electric toothbrush has, its benefits, and it has it more and more convenient when the consumers are using it. So, my last point with this case study would be the customer feedback. So, when we are talking about the customer feedback, so now you understand when I'm talking about the case study of the electric toothbrush, it also comprises the customer journey. So, how you will suggest it's a deal with the customer journey? So, the person is buying it, he'll first decide whether it is good for the concerned person or not. Then if it is good, when he is satisfied with it, then he make a purchase, then he try to use it, and then he comes in a decision whether it is good or not. So this is how it comes to the review point. So these are the stages the customer has to go, and this is what we call a customer journey in a real time. So I was discussing about the customer feedback, which is a really important part of it. So this is what we do. Like, I'm representing the company. A customer feedback is really important for it. And when you're doing this electric toothbrush, that also comprises you, after using that electric toothbrush, you can get that customer feedback. Means a person can review it, whether that toothbrush is convenient for it, or it is good or bad, or whether they are experiencing any problems with it, with the battery, with the Bluetooth, anything. So they can put that review on that feedback form while scanning that QR code. So I'm representing the UX Living Lab, where it's a market research consultant, where it tries to understand, it tries to help you guys to where your brand or company is standing, and how you can improvise your product more and more, so that it can get through your consumers, and it tries to do the things. So according to me, it is basically based on customer feedback. So we only use 4 steps to make it happen for you. That is, we create a QR code for you. Second, we try to display the QR code on your product, service, packaging, whatever you are in a service part, or even in social media. Then when the consumer scans this QR code and uploaded whatever the feedback the consumer wants to give about the product, about your product. So what we do, we try to analyze each and every part of the consumer, so that we can get a clear picture that or how the customer is liking your product or a brand. These are the 4 steps. First is the creating, second displaying the QR code, and then third would be the consumer are scanning, and the last would be we will be delivering the qualitative and quantitative report for the same. The last point would be, how do we analyze, as we are market research consultant and implementing this feedback. So there are again the 4 easy steps. So we categorize whatever the feedback it comes to us about your product or a brand. According to the product, we categorize it. Secondly, we try to understand what the customer requires from your product, what are the expectations of the customer. Then we do the gap analysis, what is your product is offered and what we can offer to the customers. And the last part would be, when we improvise that product, we will always give an announcement to the consumer that this has been improvised, so that he can come back and again, so that we can retain those customers. This is how we do. The first part would be the capturing feedback, which is the most important. You all require this. And these are the 4 major steps where you can, it's a 4 very easy. We can create your QR code, we can display the QR code on the product, and we will monitor that the people who are scanning it, and then we can provide you the reports for the same. And the analyzing, which is the most important. Why? Because when you analyzing these things, it makes you very easy to understand where your product is standing into this current situation. So we try to categorize each and every feedback in terms of product and pricing. Means whatever the product you are offering, what are the prices, and how the customer is taking the product. Second, we try to understand what the customer needs from your product. Third, we do a gap analysis, where what the product you are offering, what are the best deals you're offering, and what you can more improvise in it. And after doing all these 3 steps, we can improvise it and give it to the consumer. Okay, we can give this things also into that particular product, and the customers will be really happy and will get back. And the most important part with it is to, when you retain those customers, it would be happy, because when you give a proactive service to them, they will come back again and again, and will try to help you out in spreading the word for your company to the other people, so that your business will increase, and secondly, your customer base will be increased way beyond. So that is today's topic, what I'm talking about is customer journey, and these things really important: customer analysis, the customer feedback, what we do actually, and we try to help you out in every other way. This is our site actually. Whenever you want to understand about the company, how do we do it, or you have any questions regarding the products or the pricing or anything, just please let me know in your comment section now, so that we I can get in touch with you. Even I will try to help you out with the calendar link where you can book an appointment with us, and we will try to make you understand. We will not let you wait in that queue. We will help you as much as soon as possible, so that it makes your work much more convenient and easy. So QR code is always an ingredient when you're talking about a customer journey. So this is whole about the customer journey and the QR code, which we are working on it, which our company is working on it, and we do a lot of research. We do a work on even the insights, everything, so that we can provide you every type of feedback, so that your business can grow more and more in this. So this is the whole session about the customer's journey with the ingredient of a digital queue. So this is, I hope you like this session. If you have any questions or any doubts or anything, please let me know in our comment section. And if you have any suggestion for any other case study which you want me to present it to you, just let me know in the comment section. Thank you for joining our session.